All right. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tribe Talks. My name is Derek Gowan, as always, and alongside me today is my co-anchor, Dalton Bishop. Dalton, how are you doing today?
Doing good. It's always a good day to be an Indian, huh?
Yeah, well, that's nice. Yeah, it is a great day to be an Indian. Sorry, folks at home, that's an inside joke. But our special guest today is none other than head women's basketball coach, Coach Laura Friday. Coach, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm great.
Of course. Well, the Indians got their big win last night. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. But you had to rush over here from the elementary school because what do you do over there? Are you a teacher over there?
Yeah, I teach PE.
Okay, nice. PE at the elementary school. So now we know that about you. But go ahead and give us a little bit of a history on yourself. Like, obviously, I heard rumors that you're a Marion Giant, so we won't hold that against you or anything. But tell us a little bit about where you grew up, how you got into basketball.
I used to be a Giant. All right, so I'm from Marion. I did go to Marion High School, played soccer, basketball, and softball over there. And I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to play at the University of Evansville for college. And then after college, I kind of just didn't know what I wanted to do. And then Coach Omega gave me an amazing opportunity here to be the JV coach at Miss Cinewall. And then when she decided to move on, again, I was fortunate enough to the board and the community gave me a shot to be the head coach here, and I've been here the last 5 years total.
Okay.
This is my third year as a head coach.
Okay, nice. Got anything?
I was just going to wait until we get talking about the season.
Okay, well, we'll get to the season here actually right about now. So let's talk about, I was trying to pull it up real quick. I don't know, since this is my first year here, I don't know all of the stuff from the previous seasons, but I'm pulling it up real quick. Last season did not look like it went so well for you guys.
No, last season was a little struggle, but we had a lot of adversity, and I think really for our seniors, they're looking back at last year and they really want to prove to people that was not who we are. We had a lot of adversity, and now we're moving forward and we're actually proving who we were last year, and definitely are this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you guys went 5-16 last year, and you're already at 3-1 so far this year. So a great start to the season. You guys got a big win last night against Bluffton. So talk about just the start of your season and what you guys. Obviously, you said you wanted to prove last year was a fluke. What have you guys what have you done really well so far to start the season as a coach from a coach's perspective?
Yeah, I think a big difference this year is we're all together. You felt it so much last night. I think last night's game was where I felt it the most. We're excited for each other. Like when someone gets in that doesn't always play, the rest of the bench is pumped for them. They're cheering. Even our varsity during the JV games, there's so much energy, and vice versa when the JV is on or the varsity's playing and JV is cheering. Just feels different.
Okay.
We're together and we're excited for each other. And we don't just want to succeed individually. We want our team to be successful.
I think that's something that I've recognized since I've been covering Miss Cinewall girls basketball since I was in 8th or 9th grade. And I think last night was probably the best overall team performance that I've ever seen out of a girls basketball program at Miss Cinewall. Do you think that's just because of how long you guys have kind of been together? I know obviously you're freshmen, but like I feel like the senior class in general, not just the athletes, but the seniors in general, they bond so well.
Yeah, our senior class, I mean, we've got 5 seniors. We have 4 of which have played all 4 years. And then Megan Stanley, who came last year, but she's just an energy bunny. But
She is.
I think they really want to be successful, and they worked so hard the past 4 years that now they're understanding, like, hey, this is our last shot. We got to put our foot on the gas, and I think they like each other too. I think that's a big help.
Yeah.
With girls. Sometimes that's difficult, but again, like I said, they're excited for each other. Last night the second quarter, we had to play. One of our freshmen that was her very first varsity experience, and then That's Emma Wakeman, sorry, and then Danny Sullivan, who's a sophomore, who doesn't get much varsity experience right now. They came in and they had huge minutes for us. Kylie Roberts is a senior for us. She doesn't play a lot, but she's the heart of our team. She came in and played big minutes for us. So the difference for me again is, yes, like we're excited for each other, but also we're pretty deep. Like we have options when someone gets in foul trouble or someone's not playing great. We can sub in and we have that option this year, and I think that's really helpful for us.
Do you feel like this year you're more confident when you have to sub? Obviously, you've had great basketball players throughout your time coaching here, but do you feel like this year when you turn to the bench and say, okay, I need you to give me 3 minutes, do you feel more confident with that this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have two players that could be starters right now, and we struggle with that every single game day of who's going to start. But we have Kaya Jones and Megan Stanley who could start for us, but the energy they bring as the 6th man or 7th man off the bench, I mean, that you can't match that. I don't think any other team has that, and those two players really bring it for us. And yeah, when I turn and look at the bench, I'm not worried. Coach Warner does most of the subbing for me, but he makes great decisions, and really there's not a bad option on our varsity bench.
No, yeah, and I know you were talking about the 6th man, 7th man, but a lot of people don't realize that role is just almost as important as a starter's role. Not everyone can start, but when you come in off the bench, you have to bring that energy because you're playing against other benches, and if you're good enough to be a starter, you're playing super well. So let's move on. Let's talk about a couple specific players before we get into the actual rest of your guys' season. Talk about your seniors for a minute. We have 5 seniors, I believe. That's Mia Katie, Megan Stanley, Kaya Jones, Caitlin Ramey,
Roberts.
And Kylie Roberts, yes. I don't know why I forgot her for a second. But just talk about them, and like you said, a lot of them have been playing all 4 years here. And you mentioned a little bit earlier, but just talk about how that has bonded them and just what this senior year means for them, and then what each one of them brings to your team, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, this class is special. Last year's senior class was special to me too because that's when I started. I've had these girls all 4 years, and they just bring awesome individual things to the team, but together, like you're saying, they set the tone for our team. And that's hard to come by and have 5 seniors that can do that for you. But like I said, Kylie Roberts, I mean, she brings the energy. She understands that sometimes she'll play a little bit or a lot bit, like last night. But it doesn't matter to her. She's always bringing energy. She always has a good attitude. And that's hard to find, too, kids who understand their role. And she really does, and she is a program kid that I love to death. Megan Stanley came in last year, and she brings all the energy. Like last night on the bus ride home, she was nuts, which is great. Like that's what we need, just to have that energy. But
she's nuts only on the bus ride home. Dalton and I know Megan, and she's a lot, but you're right. She's a very energetic person, which is good.
And you need that. But no, when she comes into the game, I mean, her energy, no one on the other team can match that, and that's huge for us. What we got? Oh, Kate Ramey.
I do have one question before we move on for Megan.
What?
Out of all the players you coach, where does she rank on craziness?
I wouldn't say crazy.
Well, that's why we say it, so you don't have to.
Yeah. Goofiness.
She's an awesome kid. That's all. She is an awesome kid.
Good answer.
Kate Ramey, I mean, last night she had a huge game, but she's worked so hard the last 4 years. She's an undersized post, but she shows dominance down in there. I don't think I've seen a better seal from anyone I've ever coached. That's included Kaylee Bolser, 6'4" post player.
Wow.
Kate Ramey's seal and duck-in ability in the post is one of the best I've ever seen. And then we have, I'm forgetting some. Oh, Kaya Jones. And she works so hard. Kaya's hard just because you never know what she's thinking. She's got this, her face just goes, and it's just like, Is she mad at me? Is she happy? But no, I enjoy Kaya, and when she goes 120, and she knows what I mean by that, she is so good, and no one can stop her. This year, we put her into a kind of a different role. She is the sixth man coming off the bench, and I think she's owned that. She's coming in with great energy. The last 2 games, I think she's averaged 8 or 10 points.
Oh, wow.
And that's a great role for her, because then she can see the game before. She doesn't have to get in and be nervous right away. She comes in and she's controlled, and she has lots of energy. So she's had a great start to the season. And then Mia Katie, Mia's an interesting player. I like. It's hard to explain my relationship with Mia. She's just a good kid. She works hard, she plays hard, and she loves the game. And I'm excited to see what she does in the future. She hasn't made her decision yet, but she will be playing at the next level. I just want this year to be successful for her and all the other seniors.
Yeah, for sure. And you were talking about Mia. She's the leading scorer for your guys' team so far, at least through the first 4 games of the season. So you guys just beat Bluffton last night. Like Dalton said, it was arguably one of the best games he's seen you guys play as a full team. Talk about that. Is there anything in specific that you guys changed to get such a dominant win and to play so well, or is it just kind of all the things kind of just clicking that you guys have been practicing for a little bit?
Well, our press right now, it's clicking for our girls. They're starting to really understand and know where to be and when to be somewhere in our press. And I think that was the best part of last night. We really put it on them in that sense in the press. And then also our girls are just, again, starting to understand things. It takes a while, especially with 2 freshman point guards coming in, not really knowing the system. And we changed the system a little bit for our whole team. So that was a little hard for us to get rolling with it, but I think our girls are starting to understand. They're starting to know what we want to do on offense, what we're going to do on defense, and they're just playing hard. We haven't had a group like this in a while, and every single time they're on the court, every single one of them plays so hard. And really that makes a good team. If everyone's playing hard, even if you lose, like, you feel good about those games.
How would you describe the first 4 games of the season with only 1 loss to a team that could potentially be a state championship competitor?
I hope they're not, because we play them in sectionals. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of the season. There's going to be ups and downs all season, and that happens. But I think we're in a good spot right now. Norwell, when we see them again in sectionals, it will be a different outcome. I promise that. But our girls saw that the level of play for that, and once we get back to sectionals, we'll be able to handle that. But I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying we're going to win out, but I know that every single night we have a game, the girls are going to come out and compete.
Can I ask you who helps make out the schedule? Because the first 4 games of the season, you played a team that went to semi-state, another team that went to, I believe, state or semi-state, which was Northfield, and then a team last night in Bluffton who went to regionals. The only team that you didn't play that didn't go super deep into the tournament was Wabash. You're starting your schedule pretty tough.
Yeah, we love that, though. We want to set a high standard for ourselves. We don't want to play teams that we're going to blow out. We want to test ourselves and see where we stack up to those type of teams. So I love playing 4A teams. I love playing high level 3A teams. I don't make the schedule. Mr. Young does that, and he does a great job. But if I have a suggestion, he puts it in there, and I really do appreciate that. Like we've added Warsaw on December 4th, and they're a tough 4A team. But those are the type of teams you need to play to see where you're at. If you play teams that you might blow out every single time, then you don't know where you're at and you're not pushing yourself. So I love a tough schedule. I think I'll lobby for that every year.
No, I definitely like to see tough games at the beginning too. Obviously, it would suck to lose them, but you guys got 3 wins off the board, so that's very exciting as well. I just want to circle back a little bit. You were talking about that press that you guys run, and when I did the game last week, I hadn't ever seen that much pressing in a game before in my life. And I don't know if it's just the difference between boys basketball and girls basketball. I don't know if girls press more than boys do, but it was really working for you guys. Now, do you – obviously we talked a lot about the energy on the team. Like, what is – I guess I don't really know my exact question here. But you guys force a lot of turnovers. And you guys play with a lot of energy, a lot of kind of like run and gun kind of style. Now, obviously you like that because it's worked out very well. Does there come a point, though, where you might have to slow them down a little bit? Because we also do turn the ball over quite a bit. And I know we were just talking about that before the podcast started. Is that like a worry of yours, or you just kind of like to see what they're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, we want to play fast, and we know that's going to cause some turnovers for us. But we have to turn teams over more than we turn the ball over in order to give us a chance to win. But no, Brandon Swanner came up with this press, and with our size, we're not very big. We have a lot of speed, though, so we're gonna press as much as we can. There will be times where we have to pull it back and just play half-court game, but I think as the season goes, the girls are just going to get better and better at our press. And then as the season goes, we'll cut down on our turnovers. Last night was probably one of our lowest, even though it was in double digits. It was still one of our lowest of the season. And that's going to happen with young, again, like I said, freshman point guard. When we want to play fast, we're trying to throw it up. Mistakes happen. We're just trying to make sure that we don't have a lot of unforced turnovers, and turnovers where they can just go and score easily. As long as we're turning it over while we're trying to push the ball, or when we're trying to press and we get a steal and we're trying to push it, that's okay with us. Unforced or not, but we'll get a hang of it and we'll get that number down.
Yeah, real quick, talk to me about you mentioned it a couple of times. Talk to me about your freshman point guards, because Carson Yakel and J.C. Crick are phenomenal players, and like you said, they're only freshmen. I remember at homecoming watching J.C. play powder puff football, and it was just unreal, her speed and her strength. And that has definitely translated on the court, where you guys beat Wabash the other day, and she led the team as a freshman with 16 points. So talk to me about them and how excited you are, not for this season, but have them for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing for me is that they compete. That's hard to find. Lately, it seems they want to compete every single time they're on the court, and they never give up. Like, they'll make a mistake, which all freshmen do, everyone does, but they'll sprint back and they'll play defense. Before, we might have had someone who turned it over and felt sorry for themselves, but these two, they just compete the whole time. Carson's still trying to get a hang of the point guard spot, and that's really hard, especially playing for me. I put the most pressure on the point guards because I was a point guard. But she's starting to get the hang of it. She's starting to be more confident. And we really just need her to get us into our offense and play solid defense. And she's accepted that role. She gets her points when they come, but her main thing is getting us into the offense, making sure she's playing lockdown defense. And then JC, like you said, she killed it the other night. She's just consistent. And again, that's hard to find in a freshman. But I think it's just their competitive nature. Yeah. She wants to win, and she knows how to play the game, and she's very smart, and she just goes out there and plays. I don't think she thinks a lot. I think she just plays. And again, that's really hard to find in freshmen, and I'm super excited for the next 4 years, but I'm most excited for right now.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching them play. That just the other night when we were playing Wabash and watched JC get pancaked at the three-point line and still hit a shot and one to send us to the fourth quarter with the lead was pretty incredible. But we're moving on now. We're 3-1 on the year. Great start to the season. I'm looking at our schedule now. This Friday we play North Manchester at home, and then we actually have a home game as well the next day on Saturday against Bishop Lures. So going into those games, I'm assuming that obviously you're a coach, you've done your research on North Manchester and Bishop Lures. What are we looking for in that game? Let's just talk about Manchester at first since it's their first game. What are we looking for against Manchester, and what are they going to try to do to us, I guess?
Yeah, they don't put too much pressure on you. They run normally a 2-3 or a man-to-man, but we're gonna worry about us, and that's the biggest thing. that I've realized as a coach, if we focus more on what we're going to do or what we need to do against the team, that's been where we found the most success. So we're going to put our press on them. We're going to push the tempo, and I think that'll help us be successful versus Manchester and Bishop Lewis.
Yeah, both of those teams are. It'll be exciting on Friday and Saturday. Do you have any final questions for her?
No, I don't. Let's just keep winning games.
I know, it's exciting. I love basketball. Like when we did the Wabash game, I just got really excited because I love basketball, whether it be boys or girls. So
you hear it all the time. It's basketball in 49 states, but this is Indiana.
This is Indiana.
That's
we
right.
invented it, even though I don't think we necessarily did.
No, we did.
But it's basketball in Indiana. It's different. But like I said, for those of you listening and watching, Friday night at 7:30, I think JV actually kicks off at 6. The varsity will be right after JV against North Manchester here at Mississinawa High School. Come on down, support your Lady Indians when they try to go to a 4-1 record. That game will be, again, at 6 and 7:30. If you are unable to come, Tribe TV will have the live stream for both of those games, Friday and Saturday. But we'd obviously love to see you guys down here, and I'm sure Coach would love to see those stands filled up as well. So
Yes,
thanks again,
come
Coach.
out.
Thanks again, Coach, for joining us.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you coming on. And like I said, tune in Friday and Saturday for Mississinawa Indians Lady Indians basketball.
Go Indians.
Nice.
Can you edit that stuff about me?